Okay, Nick and Andy, massive Manchester derby this weekend. I'll be there for PST at the Etihad. Man City against Man United. It's so important, Nick. I feel like given the start to the season, both these teams have had because City are struggling somewhat unexpectedly, most would say, and United are just United, a bit all over the place, but somehow they sit above City in the table heading into this game after 3 games this season. What are the vibes, mate, for both teams and around this game? Because I'm very excited to be in Manchester this weekend.
The vibes are hilarious because when we were preparing for this game, I'm looking at the stats, and the open play kings of the last decade have 2 more shots in open play. Now, granted, they've played Tottenham Hotspur and Brighton, who are 2 teams that also like to, be good in open play, but they are 27 shots in open play, 25 conceded. And then you flip over to Man United, who also haven't, played the heaviest hitters, and they have 43 shots in open play, conceding just 16. Like, the numbers say that Manchester United should probably expect to get something out of this game, and that is the messed up, everything wonderful, wild world of the Premier League that we live in.
Yeah, this game has been that way as well. I remember last season, was it
going back to Pogba, right?
It was like Bruno and Ahmad scoring late, and United have had City's number in this game randomly, Andy, whatever the problems have been for them in most of the other games. What do you think about United as heading into this? Because obviously the big win against Burnley before the international break, just to kind of relieve some of that pressure on Amorim, but he really needs like a big performance again, like the Arsenal game at the start of the season, but B, positive result, right? I'm talking a draw at least out of this one, but there is some potential here. I feel like for United to really go at City in certain areas. So I'm intrigued. I never want to go too big on United too early in the season. We've all made that mistake in the past, I feel like. But when you look at this game specifically from the tactics, there is something here for United to feel quite confident about.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to like for United in this game, depending on if Matheus Cunha plays. It doesn't seem like he's going to this weekend. But what we've seen from City in these first handful of games and the numbers that Nick points out there, I think illustrates it very well where they're struggling in possession. But I think they're struggling even more out of possession and in transitions, especially when you've got those multiple number 10s playing there in central midfield together. It's great when you have the ball. You can pen teams in. You can try to break them down. You've got creative guys that are good in combination play and can see the passes. But when you lose the ball, who's back to help Rodri, who, Ballon d'Or winner just a couple of years ago, but is also fresh off of a torn ACL. And so he's still getting back into the rhythm and flow of everything. And I think you're asking a little bit too much of him, and whether it's Ruben Dias and John Stones together, or if it's Kusanov coming into the center of defense, there's just, there's not enough support there in transition, I don't think, for City. And so if United are able to hold things down defensively, which of course I think we always have questions about at their end of the field, then I do think there will be something for them in the open field going back the other direction.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think obviously Cunha's availability is still up in the air to this point. Wait and see what happens with him. But Nick, if he isn't fit to start or play any part of this game, it seems like Mason Mount is probably the most likely person to come in, maybe as a false 9, and have Bruno Fernandes push slightly higher alongside Brian Mbeumo. Has been great since he joined United. And then have maybe Ugarte or Kobbie Mainoo playing in that holding midfield role with Casemiro and giving them a bit more defensive solidity for United. So I kind of like that for them, even though there is obviously the chances here to really rip City open on the counter. I feel like United are going to have to weather a lot of storms and defend well and be organised. And we've seen parts of that in these games this season, even against Fulham and Arsenal, when it wasn't, as impressive against Fulham, but they still dug in there and showed that they have a little bit about them this season compared to last season under Amorim. So what do you think about United's personnel there, the changes they can make, and I guess move us on to City as well? Do you think Donnarumma's going to start? And what do you think about them? Because defensively, I mean, it's been a mess so far.
A lot of questions, right? A lot of questions about personnel and the best choices. We are fortunate enough to know that Amorim is going to play. We know how he wants to play. We know how Pep wants to play. Marmoush out, Cherki out. If we see Vardiol, Stones, Savino, we haven't seen a lot or any in the case of Vardiol this year. So there's a bit of uncertainty. I think it sets up a little bit to be cagey when you look at the best performers on either team, and you probably go to Ruben Diaz and Rodri, and there is that little X factor, though, that guy who scored 5 goals this week in one game. And I think at this point, especially given the uncertainty over Cunha and what we haven't seen from the center forward position at Man United as we transition to City, are they equipped to handle an in-form Erling Haaland?
It's a big question. I don't think anybody is really in world football. But,
rhetorical question, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just intrigued. Shesko obviously hasn't quite hit the ground running. Need to see a bit more of him. But for United, they have options, and I think it will just
have 4 goals, right? Like, if we really talk about how bright he's been, he just hasn't finished.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that causes City so many issues with the injuries they have defensively, as well as the poor form and just the gaps that have been opening up against Spurs and Brighton. And I think just being overpowered in midfield as well, like Andy mentioned it about Rodri coming back. I mean, he's not getting much help there from a defensive standpoint. So I think an area where United can really just run over City is in midfield there. And I am intrigued to see who starts in goal for both teams, especially with Lemons coming in for Man United. Does Bayendir start again? I don't know if we ever got into a Manchester derby not knowing the goalkeeper situation like this, and if 2 brand new goalkeepers are going to start, it'd be quite the debuts for either of those guys. But I think Donnarumma coming in for City might just help them a little bit with his experience, his sort of the aura around him. May with Diaz in front of him, Stones if he's fit. There's still a lot of experience there, and you would hope that even if he isn't the ball-playing goalkeeper that Pep loves to have, just, again, his aura will help City overcome some of these shaky moments we've seen. And are you worried about them? Because lost 2 of 3 to start the season. 2 good teams they've lost to, and 2 good counter-attacking teams. But, I think we expected City, even aside for these injuries, to be a bit further ahead than where they are right now. A lot of new players.
Yeah, the fact that they did a lot of their transfer business in that early window before the Club World Cup, and it felt like they were going to get an opportunity to really work in competitive games, even more meaningful than preseason, and it just hasn't quite come together for a number of reasons. There's been some injuries, there's been some players in and out of the team, and the performances haven't been bad. Results have gone against them slightly, but no, I think but come the end of the season they will obviously look much better. But right now it is a little bit of a tough time, and you look at all the injuries that they're facing going into this weekend. Not to move us on to predictions here too quickly, but I like United in this one, and I think this is a game for Amad Diallo. I think the right wing back there in the 3-4-2-1, I think is going to have a really important role against City. Ryan Aït-Nouri has been really good going forward for them, and I think if Diallo is able to pin him back and not let him get forward into attack for City, then I think that's gonna be a big advantage for United. So I'm gonna say it's a 2-1 to United in this one, and I can't believe I'm doing it.
Yeah. I'm doing exactly the same. I had the same prediction. 2-1 either way. I feel like that's a good Manchester derby score. But it just matches up really well. I think it's a great time for United to play City, given their sort of their struggles, the imbalance in the team, the injuries. I think there's a lot of new players who are still figuring out what it means to play for Man City and what it means to play for Pep Guardiola in particular. So Nick, I don't know if we're going to make it a full house here of Man United win predictions.
I am absolutely not going to. If you guys had gone the other direction, maybe I would have been contrarian as well. But no, my gut was that this might be not a letdown in terms of the spectacle, because I think there will be intensity. I think both these teams may be a little bit more pragmatic, although obviously we know how they're going to play. I was going to say 1-0 to City. I'm going to say 2-1 to City instead. Andy mentioned a name there. Aït-Nouri's been good. Renders has been good. Haaland is good. Diaz is good. Like, there's still guys there. And I do feel like we're looking at them going up against a Thomas Frank side and a Fabian Hürzeler side, and we're disappointed in them because we wanted them to be a title contender. I just think United is not quite there yet. So maybe we're raising United up too high and City too low, and this will be a bit of an evener outer.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And it's a bit of an evener outer in terms of the international break is always a weird game to play right after the international break, and players have been here, there, and everywhere. So that obviously adds an extra layer to this as well. So we may see some weird team selections as well from both managers, given injuries or tiredness early in the season or an international break. So that's something else to factor in. But we'll be factoring in plenty. Head over to Pro Soccer Talk at NBCSports.com for all the latest from the Manchester derby. I'll be there on site for PST. Can't wait for that. We'll have analysis, reaction, and much more. Nick and Andy, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll speak to you very soon. Cheers, guys.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long, and for even more Premier League content from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.